Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, I've got something extremely exciting to show you that I'm chuffed that I actually got my hands on it, as they're pretty rare these days. And it's this, a new Tamiya Dyna Storm. Yes, a totally unbuilt, brand new one. Also, it's the Riri version, which is the 2001 version, which still makes it 23 years old, and it comes with the pink motor. So in this episode, the plan is, let me just put it down. The plan is we're going to unbox it, take a look at everything that you get inside this kit, and I'm going to build it. Yes, I will be building this one on the show. Most of these have now been locked into their boxes, as when you build them, they devalue. But I think recording every detail of building up a Dyna Storm would be brilliant content, and people that will never get the chance to build one of these will be able to see it and experience it along with me as I build it. So if that interests you, you better stay tuned. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so yeah, you have to bear with me. Now, the Dyna Storm is quite a famous Tamiya car, so a lot of you are going to know this one already. But as I'm going to be raffling off this roller, I've removed them and we're going to reuse them again. If you'd be interested in a chance to win this for a few dollars and a few pounds, I'll put a link in the description. Head over there. I don't think it's got very long left, so you need to be quick on that one. This was originally released in December 1992 under kit 58116. Then Tamiya decided to release it on the 31st of October 2001. It was a limited edition kit and it's 49190, which is this kit. Also, the difference between the re-release kit and the original one is that this includes a motor, whereas the original one didn't come with a motor. But apart from that, it's exactly the same kit as the original one, and unfortunately we haven't seen the Dyna Storm since. Hopefully, and some people have their fingers crossed, we're going to see it next year for the big anniversary in 2025. Now, this kit was released in the heyday when Tamiya did lots of blister packs. Now, one thing you'll notice on the actual body is there's no protective film, making it a little bit more difficult to paint as you've got to mask it off. But they've actually mounted it to a card and they fitted the chassis and top deck and tower into the actual cardboard. I'm happy to report that this kit looks in lovely condition, so it looks like it hasn't been taken out and put back into the box loads of times. The body has no scratches on it, and the manual looks crisp and like the day it came out of the factory. Now, the Dyna Storm is part of the Astute, Super Astute and Madcap family, but it didn't just come out of nowhere. It actually derived from a prototype that Tamiya released to team drivers, and that's the TRF 211X. But good luck finding one of those, as apparently there's between 100 and 200 of them ever made. Now, you can replicate them, but it does take quite a bit of work. Now, for me personally, I love the look of the Dyna Storm. The actual body lines are beautiful, but the paint job and the decals they did for it never really set it off that well. Now, unfortunately, due to its age, the plastics have become a lot more brittle, so running one of these in vintage is a real labour of love. Now, there is a lot of aftermarket parts, especially like this main front bulkhead, that is a very complicated part that has a lot bolted to it. You can replace these parts and make it a lot stronger so that you can drive it, but you're going to sink a lot of money in it. Hopefully, maybe in 2025, Tamiya is going to re-release it, and whether they'll do like the Hornet Evo and modify some of these parts, as I think this could be a brilliant vintage buggy for people that are real Tamiya fans. Now, the rims, well, we've seen those released on quite a few different Tamiya kits, but the rear tyres are the round spike versions, which they have never re-released. They are the square spikes, so trying to find a set of originals is really difficult. They also split along the shoulder of the tyre, even if they're not used, and I'm guessing that's why Tamiya never re-released them, as there was issues with the join between the carcass of the tyre and the sidewalls. Now, the Dyna Storm chassis is FRP, but you get plastic side plates and a plastic battery tray. So you could leave it stock and run a 2S LiPo in a Tamiya form factor, or you could modify it to run a shorty LiPo. If you've been watching the show for 4 years or so, you might remember that I actually had a Dyna Storm before. It was a never run built version that had a brand new body that was never painted. Unfortunately, someone offered me a reasonably large amount of money for it, so I couldn't turn it down and I let it go, hoping that we would see a re-re. Well, 4 years later, we still haven't, so I'm super chuffed to get this one on the show, as I never had the opportunity to build it from scratch. So I'm really looking forward to putting this buggy together. Now, it makes no financial sense to build this, the value of it as a kit, but it's such a shame that they get locked into their boxes, and being that I love kits when they're built, they kind of come to life. That's what we're going to do with this one. Now, the only other kit that Tamiya did using this chassis was the Dyna Blaster, which was released on the 24th of August 1993, and again we have not seen any re-release of it. Now, that is a stadium truck version, which is very rare indeed, and I was lucky enough to be able to restore one on the show, and I have a beautiful example that I'm never letting go from the collection. Now, one thing I would like to know is, as the prototype came out on the TRF 211X, why was this then changed to become just the Dyna Storm? Why didn't it stay as a TRF car? Anybody know? Comment below. After the Tamiya Dyna Storm, Tamiya then released the TRF 201. Now, I did look into if the Dyna Storm actually achieved anything on the track, but I couldn't really find too much on it. So if you know if it won any championships or any kind of smaller events, let me know. Now, this kit came with a pink motor, but it's not the Acto Power motor that we'd seen previously. This is a 14 turn as far as I can find online, but apparently it was reported that it was a little bit slower. So Tamiya went back and re-released the Acto Power pink version, which this kind of copied. Now, apparently Tamiya just used a super stock motor and changed the color. After all these years, the kit's in great shape, but I'm not quite sure what happened to this. Now, it's the Velcro section or it's the double-sided tape. I'm pretty sure the double-sided tape's failed and it's gone a bit gunky, but it doesn't matter, I can replace it. Now, one aspect of the Dyna Storm that's really cool and unique is the shocks. These are sleeved. They have a Teflon coated sleeve that sits inside the shock, apparently to make it smoother and to lower friction. Now, these were originally designed on the TRF 211X and then made their way to the Dyna Storm. Now, the jury's out on whether they're actually better than the high caps that we see in things like the Avanti, and I'm surprised we never saw them on anything else. Now, obviously we all know that Tamiya backed away from racing buggies with the TRF series, and it's such a shame. This is a gorgeous kit, and wouldn't it be lovely if they actually released a modern TRF car that we could take to the track. So there you go, a look at some real Tamiya vintage royalty. In the next episode in the series for this car, we're going to lay it all out and I'm going to do a detailed build for you. So if you'd like to see that, well, you better hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Otherwise, you're just going to miss it. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.